After 2 weeks of sitting in a dark room with doing nothing, I was finally able to go back to school. All of this because of the third concussion that I had suffered playing football. CTE is a degenerative brain disease found in those with a history of repetitive brain trauma. As studies have increased, the amount of cases being found has also increased. According to concussionfoundation.org, anybody who plays football, their chance of getting CTE increases by 30% each season that they play and doubles every 2.6 years. Personally, having suffered 3 concussions myself, I have done a lot of research on the topic, which ultimately led to my decision to walk away from the game. Today, I'm going to talk about the sad truth about the damage that head trauma has on a person. Today, I'll be discussing some problems of football and head injuries, the effects of CTE, and some solutions. CTE can only be diagnosed in deceased players or people because it is diagnosed through a brain autopsy. That means that we don't have a definitive way of telling if somebody who's alive has the disease, and there's also no cure for it. Although Dr. Marta Kelly from LiveScience.com said that doctors are working on a way to diagnose early stages of CTE through a protein called tau. An elevated level of this protein can signal an early stage of the disease. In a study conducted by the Concussion Legacy Foundation, 94% of the patients that were tested had the disease. These were all former players, whether they played in the NFL in college or just football in general. The study also shows that in a single season, a player can take up to 1,400 impacts by themselves to the head just that year. Some of the effects of CTE are mood changes, includes depression, anxiety, irritability, and it's gotten so bad that some players have even taken their own lives. Some other effects would be headaches. Players that say that they have headaches that just won't go away no matter what they do. But finally, the last effect of CTE is memory loss, and it has symptoms compared to those of dementia. So what can we do to reduce CTE? We can start off with equipment. Make sure that players have the highest quality of equipment and that all equipment meets a certain standard to protect the player's head and body in general. The second thing we can do is enforce stricter rules. The NFL has already said that they're enforcing these rules through the NFLPA.com, and they said that one of the rules is targeting. Targeting is when you lower the head and lead with the crown of the helmet to initiate contact with an opponent. Not obeying this rule results in a disqualification, can result in fines, and even can result in suspensions. If we do this, we can get more players to play. According to Dr. Leah Schaffer from 538.com, the number one reason that parents don't let their kids play is because of the fear of head injuries. This will also help players enjoy life after football. Former players have said that life after football is miserable, body constantly aching, and there's no escaping it. What can we do to put this in action? Send letters to the NFLPA, which is the NFL Players Association, and make sure that they require the proper use of equipment and enforce these stricter rules to reduce the amount of impacts to the head that a player takes. Don't let kids play football until they're mature enough to know the risk and what they're getting themselves into, so that they understand that they can end up with this horrible disease. If you know anybody with CTE, or you see somebody who's acting a little off who formerly played football, get them help, whether it's counseling, just so that they don't end up taking their own life like other former players have. And then if you are going to play football, make sure that you're purchasing the best equipment possible so that you protect your head and your future. Today we've discussed the problem with football and head injuries, the effects of CTE, and some solutions of what we can do so that we can all enjoy and watch the game that we all love.